This is Tim, and if this is your first time, thank you for checking out Gravitas Writing, where I will be going over Medium's top 100 books to read before you die. And today we'll be going over number 96, The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton Juster. Let's get into this. Our story opens up introducing us to the lead character, Milo. A boy, like so many other boys, is bored with school. I know I was bored with school, and I couldn't wait to be done. Little did I know what was in store for me after graduation. He goes home after school one day, goes up to his room, and among his possessions, there's a large wrapped box addressed to Milo, who has plenty of time. So without a second thought as to where it came from, he puts the box together to find it's a toll booth, and with a map included. So he blindly puts his finger on the map, picks a spot to drive to, because he knows automatically what to do. But then again, it is a children's book, so some of this obviously can be overlooked. It's just a children's story. So he chooses a spot on the map and he begins to drive. So after passing through the toll booth and entering into a vivid fantasy land. Now, as the miles begin to add up, Milo switches to autopilot. Soon he finds himself approached by a group of creatures known as the Lethargerians. And they let him know that he is in the land of the doldrums. And he got there by not thinking. Thinking is actually against the law, as is laughter. Then the Lethargerians describe their day, where it is 12 hours simply wasting time. Until they're interrupted by the watchdog that scares them off and wakes Milo up and gets him to start moving. This watchdog, his name is Tak. And in place of a body, or I guess like right inside his body, is a stopwatch. And together, Tak helps him to start moving, and together Milo and Tak travel to the city of Dictionopolis. They're admitted into the city and walk around the square, where everything is very wordy, and the characters' names reflect a lot of that, like grammar and things you would find in an English setting, English subject setting. There's an uproar that's caused between the spelling bee and the humbug. Ultimately, Milo and Tak are thrown into jail. They were told a story about a king who had two sons. And these sons did not get along. They ruled two separate cities, Dictionopolis and Digitopolis. Dictionopolis is a place of words. Digitopolis is a place of numbers. And the king of Dictionopolis is Ahaz, and the math magician rules Digitopolis. And their father adopted two girls who are called Rhyme and Reason. The brothers, after the king died, the brothers could not agree. After a ruling by Rhyme and Reason, they were locked away in the castle in the air. And after they were locked away, there was no wisdom in the land. Milo and Tak escape from prison, attend King Ahaz's banquet, where the king is bemoaning how the land used to be. The humbug speaks up and said, if only a little boy and his companion would go and rescue them, everything would be better. King Ahaz likes that idea, except he includes the humbug. So together, Milo, Tak, and the humbug travel. They are placed on this quest to go and convince the math magician that they should free Rhyme and Reason. This was the first book that I read. This review is over a year in the making because YouTube was something that I hadn't gotten into yet. I hadn't taken that step to share my reading with anybody. Going back, I went to the library, I got the book again, and I reread it. It was a good book. Some of the points I liked about it, it was creative. It will keep a child's interest. A lot of books that are deemed as children's books, adults enjoy too. The first time I read The Hobbit, I was in my 20s, and it's one of the best books that I've read, and every so often I still pick it up. It was actually, The Lord of the Rings was my introduction to Middle-earth. So yeah, the characters, their names are all very education driven, and there are obstacles that Milo has to overcome, that Milo, Tak, and Humbug have to overcome. And they're all things that affect Milo in help him to grow. That's one of the aspects I like, is that you could see Milo's character growing throughout the book. One of the aspects I didn't like was this one character. It didn't give a name. It was a black bird, and he just kept talking and kept cutting Milo off and putting words into his mouth. He didn't come from the mountain of ignorance. He was actually from a neighboring town in the story. Context. He was a nuisance. I don't want to give too much away. I did like Milo's character growth. He saw that he made so many mistakes. He felt responsible for the mistakes that he made along this quest to rescue the princesses. But it is found out a mistake isn't as bad as originally thought if there was a lesson, if you could learn from it. So the Phantom Tollbooth, it keeps your interest. It's a little helter-skelter at some points, but it's a good read. I think compared to some of the other books, I think it is fitting as to where it fits on this list. So I would encourage anybody, if you have a couple hours and you've never read this, to go check it out. If you have read it, please share your thoughts. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. Again, thank you for stopping by, and next week we will be checking out Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Take care. Happy reading.
The number you dialed is not in service.